Hold on, let me. Oh, yes, we are. Hello.
Before we get fully into the introductions, people are saying that they can't hear things on YouTube.
Oh.
I do not know if YouTube chat wants to tell us that they can in fact hear us. They can hear us. They cannot hear you.
Interesting. Thank you, Brian, for handling that. Well, Brian is talking in the Discord chat about the issue.
But there are 3 of us. So if
Yeah.
you're only hearing 2 voices, that's a problem. But hello chat. Hello chat. We are dealing with technical difficulties, I suppose. But in the meanwhile, hello. I'm sure Bat will make his presence known shortly. Let us know the instant you start hearing a second male voice. And
I guess that is true. We never did a mic check on you.
we'll find out. YouTube, can we hear Bat now?
Interesting.
default? Oh, I'm gonna try something. Huzzah! Huzzah! You're gonna ask me what was wrong, and I'm gonna say I don't know. Oh, Patricia still hasn't heard me. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think that was that was the issue.
Touchdown! There we go.
Hurrah! We've successfully arrived at our destination.
Only a 10-minute delay. Cool. So
it's okay. We're good. We're figuring
now
it out.
I hear you too much.
Oh,
Not possible.
cool. I'll shut up
We're
then.
just gonna live with it, right? Hey.
Wait, not that kind of too much.
All right.
like the you're too loud kind of.
Oh, I'm
stuff.
too loud. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna reduce that a little bit. But now, at the very least, I should be audible. Oh, I've been told I'm loud as hell. That's great to hear. I guess without further ado, I'm just gonna start again. Welcome to the Musical Basics event YouTube channel. This is Bat, your host, and I am joined today by my two panelists, Sarah Jane and Fawful. So I will be giving their credentials because, of course, we are here reunited to listen to music pieces and give and provide feedback. And so it's important to me that, that I, trust these people to provide very good feedback. And this is why. So Sarah is a classical musician of 14 years and has been working very hard to become a music teacher, a classical music teacher, and she's been doing this for the past 3 years. She also has joined the Musical Basics community Discord server in 2020. A round of applause for Sarah. As for Fawful, thank you. As for Fawful, he was Musical Basics Lionel's former jazz teacher. That tells you everything you need to know. Just hi, speaking into my soul, but like aggressive, bruh. As for myself, I will be animating this stream. Formerly my first stream, so this is the first voyage, I guess, if you don't count the test stream. But we will see what that's gonna look like. Do we have any people on the Discord stage?
We have a few people, actually.
Yay! We have a few audience members. How wonderful. Okay, so we're going to really quickly explain what we're going to be doing today and also in the future for the Musical Basics Events Initiative. It's an initiative that I started like late last year, more so beginning of this year. And I am going to be hosting musical workshops where if you lack ideas on what to write music on, you can join us, and we are going to provide a team that you can co-compose alongside your musical community. And after the workshops are done, consider them like mini assignments or workshops where we all have the same prompt and we will try to compose something following the prompt. We're going to sit here and we're going to listen and we're going to learn as a community. Isn't that nice? You will find the links to the Discord server in the description box alongside every composer who has participated to the first 2 workshops that I've hosted. And so you'll find everything you need down there. Isn't that exciting? Guys, am I missing anything before we start listening to the music?
I don't think so. I think we're ready to rock and roll.
I mean, we should probably talk about the thing that people were supposed to do
Correct.
for our first musics, which involves a little bit of listening before we get to the pieces themselves.
You are so correct, but we're gonna jump in to event number 1, which is which was called Develop the Motif. This ran during the months of February and March, and like the name suggests, we have provided a motif with some possible potential harmony to go with, and the assignment was to develop the motif, develop it to a 1 minute plus long piece. And we didn't give any much more restrictions other than that. So instrumentation wise, genre wise, it's all very, very varied. And I think that's the beauty of it. We will now be listening to the motif before we get started on listening to our 6 pieces. So this is the motif that we started working with, and we provided a minor and a major variant because who doesn't like choice? And any comments about the motif before we jump in?
Well, I guess the elephant in the room is this is basically Happy Birthday. I am in fact going to address the elephant.
He did it. He addressed the elephant.
There's a lot of things that came to mind when I first heard this, and I have a submission of my own, so I suppose we can talk about that a little more when we get to that. But there are certainly a lot of directions to take this idea. Right now, of course, our community, generally speaking, is very classical focused. So having like this very strong, like perfect cadence is going to lend itself to a lot of classical oriented pieces. But we'll see certainly quite a few ways that gets twisted around. Just because we have perfect cadences in the motif as we heard it there doesn't necessarily mean that will show up as perfected in the actual submission.
And yeah, no, Fawful touches on a good point. Currently, the community is very, very, primarily classical, but I kept the scope of it very vague. So next time for the next developed motif, feel free to completely change the direction. On this note, we're going to listen to Bittersweet Yearning from Rubatissimo, otherwise known as Killian from the community. So that was Bittersweet Yearning from Zubatissimo. Who wants to start? Who wants to get the ball going?
I'll start. That I knew we were going to listen to stuff and develop the motif. I was not aware that we were going to go on an entire emotional journey. That was beautiful. I was not mentally prepared for that. That was beautiful. I really like how he kept the motif throughout and developed it from there, but it was never lost. It was always like this echo. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and the different instruments in the orchestra. That was beautiful.
Fawful, anything to add?
Yeah, there's. I mean, certainly we're going for like the cinematic orchestral experience there, and by and large, I do really love how that orchestration itself was a major tool in the development. There were a few moments where as I suppose a bit of constructive criticism, I heard the voice leading kind of fall flat. Like there were moments where counter lines were written like breaking the rules of counterpoint, and there's certainly a time and a place for that. It didn't feel intentional in all of those circumstances. So when you're writing counterlines, like the rules of counterpoint are there for a reason. But like honestly, it's a minor thing. It was a couple of times throughout. How long is this piece, Pat? 4 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, I want to say 4.5 minutes. I'm gonna double check just now, and you're gonna hear it again. Yeah, no, 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Yeah, 4.5 minutes.
For 4.5 minutes, like being able to stretch it out for that long, it was absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, that's what I got.
On top of that, it didn't feel the same throughout. There was distinct sections and with like I want to say different techniques, different styles. It was all mixed together in such a beautiful way. The transitions were insane. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have constructive criticism to offer. This was just a really solid piece of work, and the motif was developed. What can I say? It was really, really good.
If I were to add one more thing, I'd probably say the ending. I struggled with the ending feeling a little bit abrupt. Perhaps that was a personal thing, but having a more developed ending could have perhaps resolved properly and felt like the finish.
Now that you mention it, I feel that too. Like I see where you're.
Yeah, I do, and that could be attributed to a lot of things. My personal hypothesis is lack of time, because writing such music sometimes takes a long time, and when there's a deadline on the line, it's difficult. You want to do I keep pushing for more musical content, or do I wrap it up? And if so, how do I wrap it up in a way that feels satisfying, but also closed? So, such things we all struggle with, I to some extent, I want to say. But
absolutely.
that is, thank you for mentioning that. It was important.
Well,
to mention.
the fact that they were able to pull this off is rather impressive. I'll be honest.
With that said, we are now going to listen to our second piece from Scramble, of the Discord's community titled "The Possibility of Machinery is More Likely Than Is Comfortable." So, what are we thinking about the possibility of machinery is more likely than is comfortable by Scramble Cramble?
I mean, I definitely like what you were going for. I mean, just raw comparison is pretty difficult because this is like just MuseScore output, which we do have sheet music for this, I believe.
Do we? Let me double
I
check.
think so. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Is here we go. If you have sheet music, I will look at it and I will it certainly will help. I think the thing that hindered it maybe more than the like it being MuseScore output is that MuseScore doesn't know what to do with emphases. Like it doesn't necessarily have the information about like say in measure 69 through 80 like there's a lot of like kind of the clave rhythm da, 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 da. And MuseScore does not know to emphasize the clave elements of that, right? So everything ends up sounding a little bit flatter. But like even considering that sort of rough starting ground, I think the motif itself was certainly shown throughout. I especially liked the that last page and a half where like we have this great build up, and as we calm down from that climax, like this one last repetition, almost as is, of the motif.
Sarah, anything to add?
Yeah, I would mimic Fawful's commentary there about it building and then it like almost retires really well. It that last page and a half is beautiful. That build up and then the decrease back down is very beautiful. He also helped explain a lot of the issues that I was struggling with during was just the output of MuseScore. But it was really nice. The flute and the piano normally go really well together, and I like the idea of having those two particularly together. Those are really cool. I think this has great potential for a lot of things. I mean, I don't really have much to say. Having the trills between the flute and the piano together was cool. I didn't I hadn't even thought about putting those two together, but ended up working out beautifully.
Yeah, as someone who also dabbles in the muse and the scores, I'm going to say that there is a specific learning curve just about how to use MuseScore, how to make MuseScore sound like what you would like it to sound like, that you don't get with music theory. It is something that you learn by doing, which is going to be the theme of today's stream, I feel like. And Fawful and I have in the past worked extensively specifically about fixing a MuseScore output to something that is more closer to what we would like it to. But that point has been made enough. I think it's a good reminder to have. Musically, I was most surprised that harmonically this piece is on unsteady terrain. I want to say it moves.
It's adventurous, isn't it?
It is very adventurous. That's a good way to say that. It is adventurous, and I think it describes. It goes very well with the title. Oftentimes, people like myself struggle very, very much naming things, like the titles of pieces. When I write descriptions, it oftentimes feel like I'm putting more effort into naming a piece that I have composed than doing the composition of the piece itself. But I feel like this piece has been titled very intentionally, and you can feel the machinery very, very heavily in this one. It feels, I'm gonna say, mildly ominous, and I'm gonna keep it at that. It feels ominous in the best way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
In context of the title, it seems like increasingly likely that the lack of dynamic change throughout is more or less intentional. I will say, if this is the effect you're going for, it's still possible to make things clearer to the listener with the use of like accent marks and staccato, it's like it's fair to try to avoid the use of legato, to try to avoid the use of dynamics. But like some articulation can still help communicate the intent while still sounding mechanical.
So I think that would be like a good point of saying there are other ways to emphasize things besides just rhythm.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be a very good way of saying that.
Absolutely. Now we are going to move forward to our third piece, which happens to be my own entry to event number 1, titled Dance of the Lily Pads. I hope you enjoy it. And here we go. Okay. I just want to start by saying that please don't hold back.
I thought you were going to defend yourself.
Oh. No.
I also thought you were going to defend yourself.
No.
We talked about abrupt endings, and then it just stopped. I was like, oh, okay. And then you're like, hold on, disclaimer. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 100%. I think Sarah and I are both thinking, like, this needs a second chord to end it on, for sure.
But yeah, no, we're all here to learn. We're all here to get commented on. So yeah, please pretend I'm not here. Give your feedback.
Yeah, Sarah, do you want to go first, or should I?
I mean, sure, I'll go first. I would say that was a beautiful, like, again, with the title and the mixture of it, it sounded like a night stroll, like through a lake with, through lily pads. I definitely like that visual. You did a really good job of helping the audience visualize things. There's the obvious, like, maybe an ending could be extended and not so abrupt. I also would be really curious to see almost like a second, I wouldn't call it oh, my brain is blanking. I wouldn't call it a second movement, but
Like a
second, like, yeah, it's like a B section almost, and use some more contrast compared to the almost sweet, like, carefree. But I mean, besides that, I don't have any like super bad criticism or anything like that. Fawful?
I think my I will call it. I will go ahead and call it criticism. Is I don't feel like the second half of your theme feels like a development of the first half, and like where this is pitched like as a develop the motif, it feels like we have two separate motifs, one of which is the original and one of which is your own, and those two are like combining together, and there's a little bit of friction at the seam there. And I don't think it's that difficult of a problem to resolve even. Like you have this like very strong rhythmic idea, right? And just like keeping the like that dotted quarter to eighth in there instead of just like as soon as the motif is done going straight to completely unsyncopated rhythms. Right? Everything is there like very much on the beat, where everything in the original motif had a little bit more freedom, I would say.
I think that is very similar to what I was feeling of like a little bit more contrast. If you could have like had almost like a dance between the two like the two different motifs, that would have been a really cool way to incorporate and transition into what your idea was.
All very fair points. Now, do I have anything to say about this piece that hasn't been said before? I remember when I first started thinking about what I want to do for this event, I remember I kind of locked myself in the rhythmic pattern at the very, very beginning, because it sounded cool to me. And that was, part of my favorite parts. I think about this piece is the little rhythmic pattern. Granted, I do like my rhythmic patterns. They're my favorites. For this one, I do feel like I also ran out of time, and perhaps in the future we will I will revisit this piece and extend it almost, and try to get some more feedback on how I could improve on these points. Or and here's an idea. In the future, we'll host another workshop, which is gonna involve taking one of your own pieces from before and then making it better.
Yeah, that could be really cool. I think that'd be a good idea.
Thoughts?
Or doing like a community workshop.
Yeah, maybe.
How to like take these ideas and actually go to where you're wanting them to, instead of feeling limited by exhaustion or time limit, stuff like that.
And so if you don't have much more to add on Dance of the Lily Pads, thank you, Patricia. I appreciate your kind words, and welcome everyone to Brian, who is another one of our moderators on the YouTube end. Everyone say hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hi,
Brian. Wonderful. Now we're going from one submission to the next. This one is called why are we saying hi? Because we can. Because we want to welcome you officially as the second moderator of the channel. We are going to listen now to Overnight by none other than Mr. Fawful here. Before we get started, actually, I do wanna say the titling was really on the nose for this one. Because
White, yes.
because Fawful finished his submission overnight of the last day of the the due
really
date.
crammed for that exam.
I really did. I sat down from nothing, and 5 hours later, this is what I had, and like for 5 hours of effort, I'm very happy with it. But as a submission, I don't know how I feel yet. I've not listened to it in a while though, so maybe I'll listen back.
Fresh ears.
Like, wait, that was actually a banger.
Perhaps you will come up with some constructive criticism to offer to anyone listening. But first, we're gonna listen to it. Speaking of abrupt endings,
Someone just forgot to include the reverb tail. Oops.
No. Sarah, if you want to get started, while I think
So-
of what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Hey, don't put me on the spot like that. That's not nice. No, that was beautiful. I was not expecting that because everyone else's felt very sentimental and very personal, where this one was like, we're just here to have a good time. And I love that mix up. That like change of tune was beautiful. I love the fact that you actually introduced the music before going right into it. That was very nice, I will say. As far as like composing and development goes, you did develop it really well. I would have liked to and perhaps I wasn't hearing properly, but I would have liked to incorporate more of the like beginning instruments a little bit more into some of the middle parts. That could be just me. But yeah, I will say the ending did feel a little bit abrupt, though it wasn't as bad as I was anticipating, but that was really nice. For 5 hours, I will say that is impressive.
Yeah, like if instead of 5 hours you spent 6 hours on it, you could have fixed the ending there, but
True, actually.
But I digress. It was very, very early in the morning. As far as me, and Fawful already knows this, I still struggle hearing the motif, and that's despite Fawful doing all that he can to show me where it is hiding in the mix. But I can't help it because my brain just latches onto the groove. That's all I'm here. That's kind of all my experience of this is holy groove. It is a very groovy piece, and that is kind of what sets it apart from all of the other orchestral solo, more classical, I suppose, submissions that we've had. This one very much feels alive and is exactly what you would expect from Fawful, who is, like we said, Lionel's former jazz teacher.
That checks out. That's beautiful.
So, credit to where
I feel like if they're...
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go on. I wasn't going to add much more.
I feel like if there was some echoing going on of the piano playing and some others of the motif, it would have been easier to stand out. But I can definitely see where that is coming from in the sense of sometimes it's easy to get in the groove and just turn your brain off and be like, wait, what am I listening to? But like that's a really good problem to have, I think. I think that's a really good problem to maintain that groove and to maintain that. Yeah, I would be right along with that. Being like, hey, you could have brought the motif out a little bit more. But I don't think it was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing around with the rhythms a lot. I'm going to point out, just because I don't know if people will recognize this if I don't point it out, the chord stabs in the beginning do actually use that same motif.
I did hear that.
So, like, it is there, it is present everywhere, but like it doesn't ever show up in the original rhythm, which I definitely can see like where that causes it causes the lack of recognition, right? Because like the rhythmic part of a motif is still a part of the motif. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff here that is like, yeah, I really did run out of time, right? Like we have like this kind of ABAA form, and I feel like around that third A, it was starting to get a little bit repetitive from my perspective as a listener. I think I would have liked to go back and like, if I had more than 5 hours, right, go back and like change some of those harmonies, like actually freshen up that experience and have maybe more ABA prime.
Well, that third A, I think, considering you had 5 hours, I think if you would have incorporated some of those features into the previous A's, you could have, I don't want to say eliminate that third A, but if you would have ended it more abruptly at the second A, that would have felt more natural, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
I also definitely like just flat out ran out of time to try to incorporate the violins at all into anything but the
that would have
intro
been so
outro.
cool. Yeah.
But I mean, such as life. It's kind of just how time crunch works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to add as many bells and whistles.
Bro really said I
say
crammed for the exam and aced it.
no. I'm gonna say that drum set, just A plus. Don't come see me after class because we're
Yeah,
gonna listen
I spent
to.
I spent so much of my time on that drum set.
Well, it paid off. You did a good job with it, I will say.
Thank you.
Yeah, now familiar faces keep coming back. We're listening to
Wow.
Huddy Bolly from Brian, who is currently terrified for reasons beyond my understanding because this isn't graded. We're all here to learn, and learn we will. So this was Huddy Bolly by Brian. I'm just going to go ahead and give this piece of constructive criticism, I suppose. The beginning being boring is perhaps not great to make sure, because you kind of want your listener to stick around until the very, very end. And I personally find that all of your variations were more, I guess, interesting to listen to than the statement of the motif itself. I feel like, at the very least, if you removed the repetition, it would work a lot better in your favor. Now, Sarah and Fawful, would you have other comments, feedback to give?
I would
I
mimic
would
that sentiment.
say kind of the sentiment. I would say the repetitions can stay if the tempo gets bumped up, or the repetitions can go and you can get like the same pacing, or even if you just don't do the ornamentation the first time, just having like some way to distinguish between them so that there's something to actually look out for the second time it comes around helps get us into the good stuff.
You could have used those, like in the beginning, you could have used those moments of repetition to help build the harmonies in different ways to actually prepare for a shift into different sections. In my personal opinion,
like roll out the repeat into like your 8 measures where it's 4 repeated twice, and then another 16 where it's the 8 repeated twice. Right, and then you can adjust that second set separately, and that will bridge the gap to get you into the variations. And the variations are great. I think the one thing that I would look at for those variations is just to watch what your left hand is doing, and like
that's
pay
exactly
as
what I was
much
gonna say.
attention to what the left hand is doing as to what the right hand is doing. I think variation 4 was like, I liked variation 4. I felt like it was a missed opportunity, where you have like these big leaps in the left or in the right hand, right? And if we can just make that contrary motion, right, and like have both hands working in concert to like have that coming together and coming apart, instead of just this pattern that we've all heard so many times. I think that would do like so much. But
Yeah,
that's just like from good to great, right? What you have is already good.
I think you have a really good foundation here. And my main thing is just the different voicings in the left hand. It would be really good to diversify that. Again, just as Fawful was saying. I feel like both of you guys said exactly what I was thinking with the just diversifying it a little bit, and maybe making the transitions between each segment a little bit smoother. That would have been just beautiful. Also, the title just goes along with it beautifully. I will say it's a really good pairing right there.
Yeah, I do like the title.
Yeah, do you guys want to expand on why you like the title? Like, what about the title speaks to you?
Utter silence.
Look, I am. Spoonerisms evoke emotions within me.
Mm-hmm.
And is the point of music not to evoke emotions in your audience?
Mm.
So, I think that means we've succeeded.
I don't know, man. That feels like a cop-out answer, but I'll allow it. Now let us shift to the last, but not least, the last submission to the first event, Develop the Motif, called Develop the Motif. Our very own Fro has provided an excerpt. He also, unfortunately, was a victim of my cruel deadlines, and he couldn't finish in time. But what we have is what he had provided us, and we will take a listen anyways, and keep that in mind. Okay. Thoughts?
It sounds like he anticipated to do an intro, and he wanted to develop this a lot more. I feel like I want to hear the rest of it. I know his stuff, and I've listened to his compositions in the past. And this would just, I mean, if he finished this, I'd be so happy because I like what he has here. I really do like what he has.
Well, I will make sure to clip this part of the stream and send it to him on Discord. Fawful, thoughts to add?
I was busy vibing and I forgot that I was supposed to give feedback.
And now you know how we felt about yours.
Damn. Turnabout is fair play.
Suffering from success.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
I guess there is a slight little bit of an echo of what I felt with Bat's entry, where like it was hard for me to see the link between the response in like the extension of the motif. But it was just good. Like at this point, I've stopped caring about the motif. I just want to hear the piece.
I will say he did have the echoes of the motif in there. It was very evident that he had an idea and he was developing it. It's just it's sad that he wasn't able to develop it fully.
Yeah, grumble, grumble, due dates, grumble, grumble. I will also add to that, saying the beginning of the introduction, because I was looking, and the main motif that we all had starts about 44 seconds in to the actual submission. So we had like a full 40-ish minutes of introductory material, and I found a mild disconnect between the introduction and the main motif, because the introduction part sounds very joyful, energetic. It is reminiscent of chugging 2 cans of Monster at once for no reason, and then feeling the energy when it all kicks in at the same time. But when the main motif was presented, it was more laid back. It was more somber, dare I say, compared to the introduction. So it would have been so interesting to see how he reconciles those two moods down the line if he had that opportunity. Not to say that this is terrible, it's just an observation that I've made. It's really good.
I can't help but wonder if like the introduction was composed at a separate time and Fro was like planning to eventually build connective tissue between them and then just didn't have the time to do it, so he had to put them physically adjacent.
Right.
That's why I didn't comment on it,
adjacent.
because that's why it felt underdeveloped. And Brett had prefaced it with saying, hey, this is a victimhood of my time submission. And this is why I want him to develop a bit more, because I think there's something going on in his head that he wants to put out there, but he just didn't get to.
Yes, and this is not really commentary on Fro's submission, but rather about the format of these workshops, because as I've said, as you know, these are all experimental. These were the first ever 2 events that we ran, and I would love to hear more about how much time I should give for these workshops, how much resources I should put towards revisions during the workshops, because currently we have held no revisions, I suppose, for these workshops. In the Discord server, I have created channels where everyone has access to them and can freely talk about anything that they want, and Brian has been putting them to great use, asking all sorts of questions about the workshops. But I can't help but wonder if we should kind of have a half point where we sit down perhaps not go live on the YouTube channel, but still we sit down and we talk about what people have currently, how would you guys feel if we did something like that and we gave perhaps more like some insight before the time is finished? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would help them to finish and to help them to finish in a very solid manner, and also help them understand where exactly to develop more.
Fawful?
Yeah, I'm down. I
'Cause-
I
and
think
if-
that's
yeah.
I think that's a very effective way to make sure like people are on pace and don't cram it all in 5 hours.
Yeah,
Would not advise doing that, everyone. Don't do that. Don't follow his
Yeah,
example.
do
It will
as I
not turn
say,
out
not as
as
I
well.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a lesson for the what not to do lists. But yeah, like I said, if anyone at any point has any sort of idea towards the format of these workshops, you know where to find me. I am all ears always. Come find me and we'll have a chat about it. And I also like to think that as we keep doing these, they're going to eventually straighten up and be more streamlined and better for all parties involved. And so that is at least the hope. After we listen to the two more, the two last submissions for today, I do want to anticipate a little bit for the future, and we'll have a little chat at the end, have a Q&A session maybe if people have questions that they're dying to ask. But before all of that, we're going to listen to Verloren from Brian. This, of course, was submitted for the second event workshop. And yes, Brian, we're doing event 2 as well. What did you think? We have combined, because the plan originally was do a workshop, do a stream, do a workshop, do a stream, and then life happened. So we did 2 workshops, and now we're not going to do 2 streams. We're going to do 1 stream because we're resourceful like that. We're so cool like that. So we're doing event 2 as well. So that event was called Thematic Composition, and the theme that we went for was the theme of space. Feel free to interpret that however you will, as I gave no further directions from that. Same guidelines applied. No limit to instrumentation, theme, well, vibe, I guess, genre. It was free for all, free game. Brian says space was the idea of yours truly. That is because he came up with the theme as well. So, a round of applause for Brian as we listen to Verloren. This was Verloren from Brian. If any one of you want to go first, by all means.
Fawful, do you want to start?
Sure. I think conceptually there's a lot of really interesting things going on here. I think there's definitely a few of these things that I would chalk up to MuseScore being MuseScore, like the lack of a starting dynamic makes MuseScore play really loudly when you know. You can play it like with just a hint of rubato, a hint of dynamic control, and it's going to flow a lot better. One of the things that I think is really, really interesting about this piece is this stepwise motion in the harmony. Right. And making those like essentially seventh chords, right? And just like having that color of harmony in there. I would love to see in the rest of the piece that kind of color found and expanded upon. Just to give it even more, I'll guess I'll call it ear candy, right? I've said many times I come from a jazz background. In jazz background, it's hard to get too many colors in a chord, as long as they work together for some purpose. Right? So having like those upper extensions and also that the last like couple of systems of your piece where you've like taken down the tempo really slow and you have all of these long chords that are just being held. I kind of wonder what it would sound like if you just slam the pedal down and hold it throughout and just let that decay based off of how piano strings decay instead of cutting off each of these chords when you press the next one. I think that would do a lot to evoke like the feeling of emptiness. Verloren, I presume that's German. I don't actually know what it means.
Brian,
but it sounds like forlorn, so I'm guessing it's like an emotional sort of space. I feel like there's some linguistics happening there. But like that's I still think like the emptiness part of space very much holds for that. So yeah, those are the things that come to mind first and foremost when
yeah.
Sorry, one last thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I love the like hands crossing stuff that you were doing, like to have both the bass line and the melody. I am such a huge fan of like that compositional technique / piano technique.
It mixes things up
So-
and keeps you on your toes as
Yeah.
both an audience member and as the player. Yeah, I mean, I think Fawful said a lot of it. And you said there was a team that does it mean that there were multiple people who composed this, or is it just,
No, this is
is it just okay.
just Brian. This is purely Brian.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really pretty. I would have liked to hear more contrast at the beginning, but I can't really say much because we got that later on, and it ended up working very nicely.
I will add that apart from the lack of dynamic variety, I suppose, which can, and I will attribute most of it to MuseScore being MuseScore, right? It's not a DAW, right? It's originally a notation software, so we as MuseScore enjoyers must make the bridge between notation and what that evokes, right? But I actually quite liked this piece in the beginning where what do you call it when something repeats just a lot? Because I know that there's a specific term for it, and I'm blanking on it. When
ostinato, I think.
An ostinato, yeah, that's right. I like it starts with that pattern for a noticeable chunk of time, and I do find that just endless repetition to be a good, like, I guess, evocative feeling of like both physical space and an emotional space when you've lost something or someone. So I do find it very very evocative, like the type of techniques that have been used in this piece. It also did give me Zula vibes a lot in the middle of it, especially his Lionel's playing my fans pieces first entry, Amfang, towards the middle. It's really cool. It's really fun to see these parallels and how all of our compositions kind of have an impact on what we create next. Very, very cool stuff. Now, for our last submission, we have A Spear into the Heavens by Deino. And this one has the unique nature of being an actual performance and not like a computer generated, I suppose, audio or like an export of MuseScore or something like that. That being said, you will hear the keystrokes and stuff like that. So we're just going to look past that and we're going to listen to the music. Okay. Without further ado, A Spear into the Heavens. All right, that was A Spear into the Heavens.
Quite a fitting for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was really pretty. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. I can only think of the term from my English class. I'll be honest. The framing of it, where he started off with one thing and he also ended with it. That was a really cool way of wrapping it up. I really appreciated that. I really appreciate his variations as well. I would have enjoyed a little bit more because the thing was, it felt a little bit repetitive to me, but not enough to really take away from it. It's just like, oh, you could have done a bit more, with the right hand, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I think that is really good.
For sure. Fawful, anything to add about, to the feedback that Sarah just provided?
The thing that stood out to me the most about this piece was the choice of register.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it's a very intentional choice that we have, like, the highest notes on the piano take such a central stage. But I feel like in the interest of just like keeping this contrast between the highest notes and the lowest notes at its maximum, we never go into the middle.
I noticed that.
And I would have liked to see the middle register get used just a bit more, so that we actually get like the motion of spearing into the heavens, as opposed to like a spear that's kind of already in the heavens and it's just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very valid way of putting that. A very valid critique.
Yeah, like there is certainly a contrast in the sense that like we're juxtaposing this against other pieces, but within itself it doesn't have any way of creating that contrast.
Mm-hmm.
It is also important to just notice that, like I said, I keep saying it, it's important to say, this isn't a competition, right? This isn't meant to be one. We're not pitting these competitions against one another.
No.
The only takeaway, I suppose, is that we can only compare these compositions against themselves in an effort to point out, shortcomings, perhaps, the positive and the negative sides. But I will go ahead and ignore all of that when I say that this was very reminiscent, I want to say, of Lionel's explosive, bombastic style of music.
Oh yeah, that is definitely the element about this piece.
And I really did appreciate this submission because, well, it's amongst my favorite styles of like piano to play. I feel like it subverts expectations when you say that you're gonna play the piano. People mostly expect something delicate, something I don't know, fragile, I suppose, and then you play this, and then there's a hole in the wall.
Oops, this is actually the piano forte.
Oops. Yeah. But I would love to listen to this with the addition of Sarah and Fawful's feedbacks, but also as a better quality recording or a MuseScore export, I suppose. Because musically it's really awesome. I think the physical limitations of the quality of recording have the potential to hinder the listening experience a little bit. But when you look past that, I think this is really, really great as a submission. I quite liked it. And I liked all of the 8 submissions that we had the privilege to listen to today and share. So big round of applause for everyone who participated, who started something, everyone who started something but didn't submit something. You know, all of those people should be recognized and saluted, because it's not the easiest thing to commit to a workshop of sorts, especially one that is in its starting phases, and there isn't really that much structure anywhere. But the next kind of events will be more streamlined, I hope. If you want, if you have any more comments to say about this, we can have that.
I will say,
Go on.
I admire anyone who's willing to go out of their way to compose something for other people, for the enjoyment of other people, and able to put it out there for critique, for encouragement, whatever it may be. Just putting it out there is really impressive to me. And I just wanted to say thank you, everyone who submitted. And I really hope that more people submit, because this is a wide variety, but I can only imagine what more variety we could get and how cool this could be in future events.
Yeah, ultimately, the whole, I suppose, and we're gonna circle back to where it all began with the initiative, right? The whole point, I suppose, of this is community. We are aiming to promote community. If that's one thing that you take away today, it is community. In the stream description box, you will find the link to the Discord server in which we organize this, right? Once again, big shout out to Lionel, MusicalBasics, who all of those years ago allowed us to to flourish, and we are kind of aiming to put to take it and double it and give it to the next person, because without really getting into too much detail, I met Fawful, I met Sarah on the MusicalBasics Discord community server, and I grew a lot as a composer, as a musician, during my many years of writing music, posting the music, and getting such feedback from so many different people from the community. And wash, rinse, repeat, that's how you grow, that's how you learn. And that's kind of what we want to promote and what we want to push forward on this channel throughout the different workshops, the different events. I have so much ideas that I want to put forward. Fawful and Sarah have had to listen to me yap about all of the ideas that I have extensively now. Not all of them are quite ready to be publicly announced just yet. But I can say that the next event will be announced very soon. It's going to be another workshop like this. And I think the team is going to be another thematic composition. And we are going to go with, and this is where I find myself struggling a little bit, because I would have normally, under normal circumstances, I would have noted this down, but I didn't, so now I'm having to find it again. It's really cool. If you will give me just 1 second.
We need elevator music for this
Yeah.
little section right here.
Fawful, you're up. Play something.
Okay.
No pressure at all.
God damn it.
I love it.
I have what I need now. I don't know if I want to interrupt this. Right. So the next workshop will be themed after Nature's Rebirth. So I will make an announcement on this YouTube channel, on the Discord server. It's gonna be announced at the earliest convenience. And yeah, the format may change a little bit, but it's going to be another such workshop. We are going to play with the idea of perhaps a midpoint. I don't want to call it evaluation. Perhaps a midpoint opportunity to check in with everyone who's working on something, because I know a lot of people have struggled, kind of like I have, because in the beginning of the first event, I too was struggling with ideas. So I am looking at my options here about how to help composers find new ideas. It's not really something that's easy for some of us who aren't, like professional composers. I know professional composers feel generally more comfortable in their skin because they have developed such techniques about how to, generate ideas and not be too hard on themselves, because you don't need to find greatness. You can, it's usually, you can take something that is not awesome and make it awesome through, instrumentation, techniques that you put in, how this idea or that mixes with your other ideas, etc., etc. So, like I said, we are always looking to kind of extend a hand to those who are struggling finding ideas. I know thematic composition is very open to interpretation, very subjective. But it is my hope that by doing something, you can learn. You can't learn by not doing something. That's a life lesson that we, most of us can learn something by. But yeah, I am going to give maybe 5-10 minutes of rapid shot questions to either myself or Sarah and Fawful, my panel. Okay, so I will also take the opportunity to thank everyone for in the YouTube community chat, in the Discord stage VC chat. Let's catch up. Thank you. All of the composers gave great feedback. Batten team, thanks for all your hard work. Thank you, Patricia and Gina and Brian and Yado, Ben, Ash, Chaos. I saw you pop in a little bit. What do we have? Brian says the next motif should be Kirby Gourmet Race because it has the lick. To that I say, Brian, do you know the definition of a motif? Fawful can confirm. It literally is a motif, though. I think this is the part of the stream.
I
where-
don't know why am I getting involved in this?
Brian, see me after class.
Ooh, he's getting called by the teacher.
So if we don't have any questions, I would once again like to extend my deepest appreciation to Sarah and Fawful for accompanying me, and to YouTube live chat for being here. And see you next time.